Will Ospreay is being a little bit of a cheeky Nando because he's calling Ricochet. Kinda. Not exactly saying it out loud, but he's saying, hey, Ricochet, we appreciate your work here in AEW. And if you came here, we would even appreciate it. Just saying. If that happened, we got a quote from Will Ospreay from an interview, and he really talks about Ricochet in detail. And I think we should go ahead and read that and then get to the discussion, because it is a bit of a long one. I keep up with him all the time, says Will Ospreay, and sometimes I get a little bit sad about it. I hope he's not sad, and I hope he's really happy. I keep up with him as much as I can, but I feel like people are forgetting who Ricochet was once upon a time. All of these high flyers that you see, and myself included, we all took inspiration from Pac and Ricochet. The fact that they only value his time for under 5 minutes is appalling to me. This is a reference to the WWE speed thing where they literally have to have 3-minute matches. But I just want people to remember who he is. If you go and look at 2012 or 13, Dragon Gate Ricochet, he was untouchable at the time. When it came to this generation of high flyers, he was the greatest. He's the greatest high flyer ever. I know it sounds weird, but I do include or put him on the same level as a Rey Mysterio, said Ospreay. Kenneth Bomington, how do you feel about this, man?
You know what? I agree.
Okay.
Before Ricochet came into WWE, I used to see his stuff. Now, I wasn't a huge independent guy, but I would check out those PWG shows where making too many thumbnails. Where we had Ricochet, Kevin Owens, like when all of those guys were in there, they were in there putting on crazy matches, even Rich Swann. So I saw Ricochet in there doing like quadruple flips in the air, just in ring. These guys were going absolutely insane. So I was like, when Ricochet gets to WWE, it's over. He is going to be the next Rey Mysterio. He's going to surpass Rey Mysterio. But then he got to WWE, and his NXT run was fine, but
pretty good.
You can tell the promos just were not there at all. He's getting better these days, but it looks like it just may be too late, and WWE doesn't agree, or they don't believe in him anymore. So.
Right.
I don't know. You know what? It's an interesting quote here from Will Ospreay. Before I elaborate any further, Kiddo, what do you think about it? What were you expecting from Ricochet when he came to WWE, or did you have any expectations?
I had the same expectation that is happening right. Basically, the reality of our situation right now. That was my expectation, because back in the day, I did watch all those indie matches too, and I watched Ricochet specifically with Will Ospreay in WCPW, and they both had a chance to really go out there and cut a promo every now and then. And Ricochet, when he went out there, he stunk it up. He was really bad. Like, he was very obviously lacking on the microphone, and I knew right then is like, well, he's going to be great in NXT because, the way NXT was booked by Triple H back in the day. But when he goes to that main roster, Vince McMahon, I think, is going to eat this guy alive. And my ceiling for him was, at the best chance, it was like a Dolph Ziggler, where he's such a good wrestler. He does so many cool moves, but at the same time, he sells really, really well. So make him lose all the time. There you go. Perfect. The new Dolph Ziggler. That's what I was thinking that was going to happen. And with McMahon at the top, I was surprised to see when Ricochet got to the main roster, it was even kind of worse than that. It was like a low-carder jobber, not even a mid-carder, you know what I mean? With a guy that is that good at wrestling, I guess like that just shows you how important, especially when Vince McMahon was at the top, the promo ability was. And, I saw, again, in WCPW around the same time, Will Ospreay cut promos, and he was so much better, way better than I ever expected. So I always knew that Will Ospreay, wherever he went, whether it was New Japan, whether if he ended up in WWE, I always thought that Will Ospreay was going to go do something big and be better, in my humble opinion, overall in the ring, and especially character work-wise, from Ricochet. But I gotta say, Kenny, there's insane amount of things we can talk about. I think after these news, specifically on the latest Raw, they went ahead and gave Ricochet another like badass match with Ilya Dragunov, and they're giving him a story with Braun Breaker. And I feel like with Triple H back at the helm again, they're gonna slowly build him up to be at least upper mid-carder. And I gotta give this guy the credit, because in the last month or two, he's always been working on his promos, but it feels like they're clicking a bit more. And he's
Yeah.
definitely no Stone Cold out there. It's only bald.
Nah, homeboy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm a broken man. Nah, I've never been broke, man. Ricochet's never been broke. It's okay. It's like some memorable stuff. So if he keeps on doing that, Ricochet is going to be a dangerous man, at least, you know, an Intercontinental Championship level threat. He could even get the World Heavyweight Championship with Triple H at the helm, but I just don't expect it. I feel like now he's finally getting to that, a bit of that Dolph Ziggler role, in my humble opinion. So he's at least doing better.
It breaks my heart every time we get on these videos and y'all do that. Talk about the Dolph Ziggler road. Come on, man. I love Dolph Ziggler.
I know, but it's the
Dolph
truth.
Ziggler was a world champion. They just didn't let the man thrive.
Same. I agree 100%.
But with Ricochet, yeah, I agree, though. He falls into that slot. Apparently, I think it's just over for him, man. Like you just mentioned, he had this match with Ilya Dragunov. He didn't win.
No.
He's got this feud with Roman, what's his name? Braun Breaker coming up.
Roman Reigns.
He's not going to win.
No.
So he's getting put in these feuds. He's finally getting, you know, the TV shine and the spots, but he's not going to win these feuds.
What are you getting at, Kenny? Are you saying this match should go to AEW? Like Will Ospreay says?
Valentine. What I'm getting at is the fact that Will Ospreay is absolutely correct.
Ooh.
This man should go to AEW. It's the only thing that's going to save his career at this point. Now, we saw what happened with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was not getting what he wanted. He was stardust in WWE. He couldn't even get a match with Dustin Rhodes at WrestleMania. So he said, you know what? It's not working for me here right now. I'm leaving. And I think these wrestlers, for whatever reason, they're scared to make that jump at this point. Maybe they're making too much money. I don't know. We know Ricochet's got a bad one at home, and she works in WWE, so maybe he doesn't want to leave her there. But he's got to kind of, what does MJF's tattoo say? Bet on yourself.
Bet on yourself.
Ricochet has to bet on himself because now that his promos are better, if he goes to AEW, he can use that promo style he learned in WWE, and he can back it up in the ring. So I think he would definitely thrive in that position, especially if they put him in matches with Will Ospreay. We see them two have those superhero matches, and I think they still will work today, and it could be the biggest feud. That is the biggest feud he can get in right now is with Will Ospreay in AEW because I don't know how long his contract is, but we know it's not going to happen in WWE.
No, I can't disagree with you too much, man. Like you said, it's over for him. I don't think it's that bad, but I don't see him being a world champion anytime soon. He can recover. Shorty G was Chad Gable's last gimmick.
But do you see him as a world champion? Because I'm talking about world championship level talent here.
Nah, I mean, with Triple H at the helm and with how he was being booked in NXT, think back to that. It was the mid-card champion again there, but I felt like he was being booked so strong, and now he has a bit more of a promo under his belt too when it comes to the ability of it, that I feel like he might at least be that, you know, Raw World Heavyweight Champion. I never see him right now as a WWE champion, but at the same time, if he went to AEW, he's going to have all these great matches, but with MJF at the helm, with Ospreay at the helm, will he be able to be a world champion? Maybe once, maybe a transitional or a short-term champion. But even going to AEW is a bit of a risk he has to take. But hey, like you said, maybe he should just bet on himself. But
I don't know. I don't know, because if he goes to AEW, like you said, Will Ospreay at the top of the helm, if he can go over there and he can hang with his promos with Will Ospreay, I think you can put those two in like a main title feud, and maybe they trade it back and forth. That could be the Hangman Page for Will Ospreay's.
Right. It is already. I think we should argue.
Like Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland, there can be those two.
Yeah, exactly.